Hi guys, how are you? Okay, today again I'm here to discuss the summary of the chapter Lost Spring, our second chapter, written by Anish Jan. The chapter has been divided into two excerpts, and the two excerpts from the Lost Spring included in the Lost Spring story of the life of poor community. Each story captures the harsh realities of child labor, which continues to rob the childhood of countless children of India, even today also. The first excerpt discusses the life of the migrant people in Delhi who work as a rag picker for survival. And the second excerpt highlights the community of Bengal makers from Firozabad who are intense to work in the harsh and dingy conditions because of that they can't escape from the their traditional work. The first excerpt describes the narrator's encounter with a child named Sahib. Sahib and his family migrated from Dhaka after their homes and fields were destroyed by storms. Now they live on the outskirts of Delhi, digging through garbage dumps in the city for their livelihood. Sahib does not go to school because there are none in his neighborhood, and the narrator light-heartedly asks Sahib if he would attend a school started by her. He agrees and even asks the narrator about it a few days later. She realizes that she had made a promise she had not really meant to keep and recognizes with embarrassment that for children like Sahib, such broken promises are common. The narrator notes that Sahib and his friends are mostly barefoot and have never worn shoes in their life. Those who do have shoes wear mismatched ones. The narrator recalls seeing many such barefoot children across the country. She recollects the people explaining this away as tradition and wonders if this is just an excuse to hide how widespread the poverty is in our country. The narrator then recollects her visit to Simapuri on the outskirts of Delhi, where migrants like Sahib's family live in Delhi's periphery. The neighborhood is dotted with mud and tin houses without water or drainage. The residents there have no identity papers like ration card except which enable them to get food. For them, having a source of food is more important than having an identity. This is why they prefer to be here than in their home country, where they went hungry. The narrator notes that the adults in Simapuri rag picking is a source of livelihood for them. But for children like Sahib, it is a source of hope, as they even find money among the garbage sometimes. One morning, the narrator finds Sahib watching two young men playing tennis. She noticed that Sahib is wearing someone's old tennis shoes and ponders that though he has the shoes, he might never be able to play that game, tennis. Another day, she sees Sahib with steel canister. He had started working at a tea stall now. The narrator notes that Sahib is no longer carefree now that he works for someone else. I want to drive a car. This is the second excerpt. Focuses on the lives of families in Firozabad. Here, generations of families, including children, have spent their lives in dark, dingy rooms around hot furnaces, welding, and making the glass bangles in the industries. The narrator introduces Mukesh, who belongs to one such family, but whose ambition is to become a motor mechanic. She describes her visit to Mukesh's home, which is situated in a locality with stinking lanes and crumbling homes. Mukesh's family is extremely impoverished despite years of hard labor by Mukesh's father. Mukesh's grandmother implies that they will never escape this, as it is a family profession that they have been carrying on for generations. The narrator notes that the entire locality is full of children and their parents who make bangles in the dark. Quite often, the children go blind before entering their adulthood. If child labor laws are enforced in Firozabad, it would free at least 20,000 children from this dangerous trade. The narrator describes the scene of hopelessness that pervades Firozabad. For instance, an old lady tells the narrator that how she has never enjoyed a square meal in her lifetime, means two times meal in her lifetime. Youngsters too seem to feel trapped and do not take any initiative because they are afraid of being harassed by the policeman. The narrator clearly sees two distinct worlds here. One of the poverty stricken Bengal makers, limited by their caste linked profession, and that of middlemen and authorities who ensure that the vicious circle continues here. Both words stop young children from dreaming, making them slaves to their own fate. Hence, the narrator is cheered by Mukesh's declaration. And what he said? Mukesh said, I will learn to drive a car. His dream through modest indicate that the next generation can escape this web of poverty.